Before we get into the video, could everyone please subscribe to my Endless Diary Tales channel? Thank you so much. Thea Song pulled out a crumpled stack of money she had saved for 7 years and handed it to the ticket clerk. Hello, I'd like a train ticket heading south in 7 days. Where exactly are you going? Where's the farthest? If it's a direct route, Yonk in the south is the farthest. Thea Song didn't hesitate for a second. Then let's go to Yongcheng. After buying the train ticket, Thea Song returned home only to have her husband, Bo Jio, throw a divorce application at her the moment she stepped through the door. For 7 years of marriage, Bo Jio had handed Thea Song a divorce application every single year. He was certain Thea Song wouldn't dare to sign it. After all, she had nowhere else to go but with him. He knew all her difficulties and understood all her humiliations. So, he acted without restraint. In the beginning, Thea Song cried in fear, not knowing how she could live without Bo Jio. In those days, what woman dared to get divorced? Where could she go if she left him? But after 7 long years of torment, she could no longer endure it. This time, she would divorce him and disappear far away, never to see him again, still refusing to sign. Are you? Then come fulfill your duty. Bo Jio's icy voice struck down, pinning her to the cold ground, just like every time before, without a trace of tenderness. Afterwards, he stood under the light, buttoning his clothes with a condescending air. His gaze filled with hatred as he looked at her. Bo Jio gritted his teeth and said, "Since you refused to leave, then suffer, Thea Song. Why wasn't it you who died back then?" With that, he turned away in disgust, leaving Thea Song lying alone on the cold floor, tears streaming down her face. Bo Jio was the first secretary of the municipal party committee, young, handsome, and with a bright future ahead of him, while she was merely a housewife who depended on him to survive. 7 years ago, in 1975, the Song family had to send one daughter to the countryside to support rural development. At the time, the Song parents didn't hesitate to choose Thea Song for this task. Her elder sister, Arya Song, was the apple of their parents' eyes, pampered since childhood and protected by her childhood sweetheart, Bo Jio. As for Thea Song, she had always been the unwanted one, shouldering all the household chores and deemed useless, so naturally, she was the one sent away. But no one expected that Thea Song would save 5 children from human traffickers at this critical moment, getting stabbed twice in the process and becoming a hero. With the rural assignment imminent, Thea Song lay in the hospital, forcing the reluctant Arya Song to take her place in the countryside. As a result, less than a month after Arya Song went to the countryside, she drowned in a river and her body was swept away by the current. The Song parents went mad with grief, blaming Thea Song, and Bo Jio rushed to the hospital, nearly strangling Thea Song with his own hands. Later, the Gue family's elderly lady, who had secretly believed in fortune and fortune-telling for half her life, forced Bo Jio to marry Thea Song. She insisted that the marriage agreement between the Gue and Song families must be honored, or she would die with regrets. The Song was then pressured by her parents to marry Bo Jio. More accurately, she was sold to the Gue for the high price of $500, becoming a tool to prolong the old lady's life. Thea Song gave a bitter smile. With great effort, she picked herself up from the ground, straightened her clothes, and curled up on the cold wooden planks. Her room had no bed, only a makeshift sleeping area constructed from 3 wooden planks. Bo Jio said she was despicable and low, resorting to any means to marry him, that she wasn't worthy of his bed, nor even deserving of a bed at all. Thea Song grew up in the countryside with her grandmother. When she was 13, her grandmother passed away, and she was brought back home. Arya Song cried so hard she could barely catch her breath, saying she was no longer her parents' only precious treasure. Mrs. Song pushed Thea Song aside and embraced Arya Song, saying, "Arya, don't cry. She's just a wild child raised in the countryside. She's no treasure, only you are." Father Song also hurried forward to express his feelings to Arya Song. From that day on, Thea Song knew she was an unwanted child. That winter, after washing the family's clothes in the icy river water, the chill in her hands cracked and she cried from the pain. Bo Jio gave her a white rabbit candy. To this day, she still remembers the gentleness in Bo Jio's voice when he spoke to her. He said, "Little girl, you should be kinder to yourself. Don't try to do everything. That was the first time Thea Song tasted candy so sweet, a kind of bliss she had never experienced before. So much so that she felt Bojo was someone who could bring her happiness. She fell helplessly in love with him. Even though she knew Bojo had eyes only for the radiant and sunny Arya Song, still she loved him quietly, humbly, without expecting anything in return, having suffered for so long. Truly, just a single piece of candy was enough to steal her heart. What a pity. Thea Song bent down to pick up the divorce application. She gently brushed off the dust from it, placed it on the table, and solemnly signed her name with a pen. In just 7 more days, she could leave. This marriage, which had brought them both so much pain, had finally come to an end. Thea Song wanted to pack some belongings, but found that her clothes were either from 7 years ago or altered from Bo's discarded old garments. The patched and mended clothes made Thea Song appear outdated and frumpy. For these 7 years, Bojo never allowed her to live a decent life. The neighbors were unaware of Thea Song's act of bravery. They couldn't understand why someone of Bo's status would marry a woman like Thea Song, who seemed utterly worthless. Thea Song was even more afraid to visit the Gu's elderly lady, who demanded a bowl of her blood every month. She couldn't even be bothered to threaten Thea Song, knowing she was an orphan with no one to rely on and nowhere to turn for help. For the first 2 years, Thea Song lived in a daze. Later, when the college entrance exams were reinstated, she saw a glimmer of hope. She secretly studied, hoping to sign up for the exams. But Bojo found out without hesitation. He crushed her dreams, telling her she would never go to college. He wouldn't allow the street committee to issue her a letter of introduction. Later on, the country's policies kept getting better and better. Thea Song overheard the vendors discussing how things were different now. No more need for introduction letters when traveling. She heard the South was much freer, that as long as you were willing to work hard, you could earn money. Finally, Thea Song had saved enough money for the train ticket. That was her hope. Bojo hadn't come home for 2 days. Thea Song silently drew a red X on the calendar. In 5 more days she could leave. She had originally wanted to say a proper goodbye to Bojo, but now it seemed unnecessary. At noon, Bojo came back unusually early. Bojo was feeling restless and agitated. Deep down, he knew that Arya Song's death had nothing to do with Thea Song, but he just didn't know what he was resentful about. He simply wanted to bully Thea Song, as if doing so would absolve him of any guilt toward Arya Song. That morning, he had visited his seriously ill mother, who tearfully told him that their marriage back then wasn't something Thea Song had begged for. It was old Lady Jo who insisted on bringing Thea Song into the family, believing her fate could prolong the old woman's life. Bojo found the absurd reason utterly laughable. Yet on the day he registered the marriage, old Lady Jo had held his hand and said, "Bo, marry Thea. She's such a wonderful girl. You'll come to love her." In reality, was it just Thea's fate she loved? Absurd. He didn't know why he suddenly felt uneasy in his heart. He just wanted to come back and see Thea Song to check if she was staying quietly at home. When Bojo entered the door, Thea Song was hanging clothes in the yard. All his clothes were washed by her own hands, and then ironed neatly. 7 years had passed, and Thea Song had been an excellent wife. As for him, Bojo suddenly found himself at a loss for how to face Thea Song. His face habitually darkened. Thea Song seemed frightened, her body instinctively tensing as she took half a step back. "I didn't know you'd be back for dinner. I'll start cooking right away." "Don't you make lunch when I'm not home?" Bojo asked, his tone icy. Thea Song shivered with only a little money in her hands and Bojo demanding the best food and drink. The only way she could save was by skimping on her own meals. She hadn't eaten lunch for years now. When she was truly hungry, she'd chew on some coarse grain cakes or boil a pot of wild vegetable soup to fill her stomach. But Thea Song didn't dare let Bojo know. "I haven't finished my work yet. I haven't done it," Thea Song whispered in defense. Bojo's expression softened slightly. "Go cook, Thea Song responded. But as she turned around, she suddenly felt dizzy. Her vision went black, and she lost consciousness. "Thea Song." Bojo rushed over in a hurry and embraced Thea Song as he lifted her. He realized how light she was, lighter even than when she was 14. A sharp, inexplicable pain pierced Bojo's heart as he carried Thea Song to the hospital. By the time Thea Song woke up, it was already dusk. Opening her eyes, she saw Bojo sitting by her bedside. Her consciousness slowly returned. I'm sorry. Thea Song, am pregnant. Bojo's voice sounded, devoid of any inflection. Thea Song froze in place, staring at Bojo in shock, her mind seemingly blank for a moment. Just as she was about to leave, she heard, she's pregnant. Over these 7 years, Thea Song had wondered countless times if she had a child. Would Bojo treat her a little better? But there never was. To think it would come at this moment. Thea Song found it so absurd she wanted to cry. Suddenly, warmth enveloped her hand. The Song's tear fell just then, landing on Bojo's hand. Bojo flinched as if burned. Taking a long moment before finding his voice again, he said, Thea Song, I've let go of the past. From now on, let's live well together. Take good care of this child, and I'll treat you well too. The Song watched as Bojo's tears fell in large drops. If this had happened on any day in the past 7 years, she would have likely cried tears of joy. But now, she cried for her confusion. For not knowing how to face the child in her womb. She had already signed the divorce papers. How can she raise this child if she keeps it? She doesn't even have the money for an abortion. The Song couldn't stop crying. Bojo reached out and pulled Thea Song into his arms. The Song, don't cry. I'll protect you from now on. The Song was carried home by Bojo, who placed her on his own bed. The Song was at a loss. I should still go. You'll live here. And from now on, you'll live here. Forget all that happened before. Bojo said firmly, asking a neighbor to prepare soup for Thea Song. The aroma filled the room, and Thea Song's stomach began to growl. Bojo picked up the soup. Have some. Thank you, Thea Song replied, taking the soup and sipping it slowly. The warmth finally spread through her stomach, making her feel so comfortable that she wanted to close her eyes. The bed was cozy. She hadn't slept in one for 7 years. At night, Bojo held Thea Song from behind, a sleeping position neither of them had ever experienced before. The Song's entire body was stiff. She didn't dare move a muscle. Bojo couldn't help but notice how thin Thea Song was. There was hardly any flesh on her body. How could his wife be so skinny? A twinge of guilt rose in his heart, one he wasn't even fully aware of. The Song didn't know when she had fallen asleep. But when she woke up, Bojo had actually made breakfast. Get up and eat. Bojo reached out to hold Thea Song's hand, leading her to the dining table and placing chopsticks in her grasp. Her hand was still so small, so thin it was practically skin and bones. Eat more, Bojo urged. Okay. Thea Song kept her head down as she ate, always so obedient. Bojo remembered when Thea Song first returned to the Song family. He used to tease her, and she would blush helplessly with a shy smile. The Song was so lovely back then. Bojo's thoughts were in disarray. He didn't understand why. After learning about what the Gu matriarch had done, he felt such intense emotions toward Thea Song. Perhaps it was because the misunderstanding had lasted too long, and she had suffered unfairly because of it. But it's okay. He would treat her well in the future and treat their child well. Thea Song rarely had a full meal, and the porridge was served by Bojo, an especially full and hearty bowl. It was so delicious. The feeling of being full was truly comfortable. She gently touched her belly, where a baby was growing inside. Bojo noticed Thea Song's movements and thought to himself that indeed, Thea Song was just as eager as he was for the arrival of this child. As a family, it's best to let past unhappiness stay in the past. Just as Bojo was lost in thought, the door to his home was suddenly pushed open with force. Brother Bo, a familiar female voice rang out, followed by a figure rushing into Bojo's arms. Bojo was completely stunned, unable to react at all. Brother Bo, the person in his arms called out again. Bojo's lips twitched before he finally found his voice. Arya, I knew you would never forget me. Arya Song looked up at Bojo, her arms still wrapped around his waist. Such an intimate embrace. The Song's hand on her own abdomen tightened slightly as she and her child watched Bojo and Arya Song embracing. Bojo took a moment to realize what was happening, then hurriedly pushed Arya Song away and looked at her carefully. Arya, is that you? Bojo asked with difficulty. I was swept away by the river, but later I was rescued. However, I was delirious with fever at the time and couldn't remember anything. I lived elsewhere for 7 years, and just recently I suddenly remembered everything and came back to find you. Bo, did you miss me? Arya Song stared intently at Bo Jio with passion and boldness. She was always like this, courageously expressing her feelings. Unlike Thea Song, who always stood quietly on the sidelines saying nothing. Even when her heart was in turmoil, she wouldn't speak of her sorrows nor share her joys. I do. How could I not miss you? I dream of you every night. Bo Jio exclaimed joyfully. Have you gone home yet? As soon as I remembered, I came to find you. Brother Bo, could you take me home? My parents would be overjoyed to see me. Arya Song said she was certain she knew everyone loved her. Even after disappearing for 7 years, that love would never fade. All right, let's go now. Bo Jio excitedly took Arya Song's hand and led her away. As Arya Song turned around, it was as if she had just noticed Thea Song. She looked at Thea Song with the same haughty demeanor, her gaze filled with unmistakable disdain and contempt. The Song, long time no see. You're still so thin and so unattractive. The Song's lips twitched slightly, but no words came out. Arya Song had run out of patience with her and pulled Bo Jio away. Bo Jio's footsteps suddenly halted as his gaze fell upon Thea Song, his wife, who was currently expecting their child. Brother Bo, what's wrong? Arya Song asked in surprise, her beautiful eyes tinged with a hint of grievance. Bo Jio thought to himself that Thea Song must have also noticed Arya Song's recent return, and right now she needed more care. Thea Song, I'll take Arya Song home first. After speaking, the two held hands and strode away. The Song just stood there watching as Bo Jio and Arya Song disappeared before her eyes. What was she still hoping for? The Song smiled bitterly. Whenever Arya Song was around, her parents and Bo Jio never seemed to notice her. The slight warmth from yesterday had thrown her off balance. And today, Arya Song's return made her acutely aware of her place once again in Bo Jio's heart. She had never truly mattered. His kindness toward her was only because of the child. The Song lowered her head to glance at her flat stomach, then stood up and marked another time on the calendar for more days to go. That night, Bo Jio did not return home. The Song quietly made dinner by herself. Bo Jio had bought plenty of ingredients the day before. Early the next morning, Bo Jio still hadn't come back. The Song drew another time on the calendar. 3 more days. She knew she shouldn't hold any hope for Bo Jio, but recalling what he had said in the hospital, Thea Song still felt a pang in her heart. After breakfast, she began tidying up the room. She would be leaving soon and Arya Song would move in here shortly after. The two sisters had never gotten along well, and she knew that Arya Song despised everything about her, so she was going to erase every trace of herself from this house. It was, in a way, her farewell to herself and to the past. And to avoid being an eyesore, Thea Song had just finished packing her belongings into a bag when the door was violently kicked open. The person who entered was Thea Song's mother, whom she hadn't seen in a long time. Thea, Arya is back. Hurry up and divorce Bo Jio. Mother Song said bluntly as she looked at Thea Song. The Song was about to speak when Mother Song slapped her. A crisp, sharp sound rang out. Thea Song, haven't you done enough harm to your sister? She suffered outside for 7 years while you lived comfortably in the goo for 7 years. You owe her all this. Pointing at Thea Song's nose, Mother Song scolded her viciously. She truly is a good mother who dearly loves her daughter. The Song wondered why it was that even though she was also her mother, she didn't show the slightest bit of care for her. Don't play dumb with me. Mother Song raised her hand to strike again, but Thea Song stepped back, avoiding her slap. You little wretch. How dare you dodge? Mother Song was furious. How did I harm Arya Song? Thea Song asked, her eyes brimming with tears as she stared fixedly at Mother Song. Mother Song froze. She wanted to say, if it weren't for you, how could Arya Song have gone to the countryside and fallen into the river? But for some reason, looking into Thea Song's clear eyes, the words suddenly stuck in her throat. Thea Song, you've got some nerve talking to me like this. I'm your mother. Mother Song shouted in a rage. Are you my mother? Thea Song's tears fell in large drops as she asked the question she had longed to voice for so long. Before, she hadn't dared, lacked the courage, and was even more afraid. She feared hearing Mother Song say no. But that slap just now suddenly gave her the courage. Why couldn't she ask? After all, 7 years. No, she had only been married for 7 years. She returned home at 13, got married at 18, and was now 25. She was leaving. Couldn't she at least get some answers? Why was I sent to the countryside the moment I was born? Why did it have to be me who was sent away? Why is Arya Song falling into the water my fault? Why, Mom, tell me why? Thea Song just stared at Mother Song, wanting to see her expression, hoping to catch a glimpse of some guilt towards her. Slap. Mother Song, enraged by Thea Song's questioning, completely lost her composure and suddenly slapped her again. Thea Song remained in the posture of being hit. Who gave you the right to speak to me like that? Let me tell you, I gave birth to you and I can treat you however I want. What do you mean why? What do you mean by what right? How can you even compare to your sister? She is simply better than you and we simply prefer your sister. What's the use of your efforts? No one cares about your feelings. Who do you think you are? Mother Song raised her voice sharply, and the neighbors watching the scene couldn't help but shake their heads. This is just too unfair. Yeah, I had no idea Little Song's family had so many issues before. No wonder she doesn't keep in touch with her family. What's the point of staying connected with such a family? What do you all know? Mrs. Song's anger flared even more at the neighbors' back-and-forth comments. Originally, our Arya and Bo were a pair, and 7 years ago, we had already decided to send Thea Song to the countryside. If she hadn't recklessly done that so-called good deed, rescuing a child from a trafficker and getting stabbed, how could our Arya have ended up going in her place? If our Arya hadn't gone to the countryside, how could this tragedy have happened? Even so, she's not worthy of Bo. If we hadn't sold her to the Gu family's old lady, she wouldn't have been able to marry Bo at all. Now that Arya is back, what right does Thea Song have to not divorce and make way? Mother Song blurted out all her true thoughts in one breath. The neighbors watching the spectacle were shocked, speechless by such shameless remarks. Bo Jio and Arya Song, who had rushed over in a hurry, were also frozen in place. The hero who bravely saved 5 children back then turned out to be Xiaoang. My God, you actually blamed her for not being able to go to the countryside because she was injured. This is outrageous. Absolutely outrageous. Contact the Women's Federation. Call the police. Go now. A neighbor immediately ran out to seek help. What are you doing? What are you all doing? This is my family matter. My daughter's business. Now you remember Xiaoang is your daughter. What were you doing when she was hurt? You even sold her. You don't deserve to be a mother. You're not human. The elderly neighbor was furious. She quickly stepped in front of Thea Song, firmly shielding her. This matter today absolutely cannot be let go like this. The elderly neighbor spoke with tears streaming down her face. My grandson was one of the children saved back then. We've been searching for our benefactor all this time, never imagining that the very person who saved us would be bullied right before our eyes. Xiaoang, you don't need such a mother. From now on, I'll be your mother. I'll protect you. Mother Song's face flushed red from the elderly neighbor's words, unable to muster a single rebuttal for quite some time. Thea Arya Song pushed through the crowd and stepped forward. Thea, no matter what, you shouldn't join others in bullying Mom. Bojo also walked in. He looked somewhat surprised at Arya Song. In his impression, Arya Song was warm and righteous. Yet today, it was clearly Mrs. Song who was bullying Thea Song. Thea Song had even been slapped twice. Thea just apologized to Mom and leave it at that. I won't hold your relationship with Brother Bo against you either, Arya Song continued. They're married. What's it to you? Are you trying to be a homewrecker? The old neighbor lady scolded harshly. Exactly. Who does she think she is? Bossing everyone around as if the whole world should obey her. Quick, the police and the Women's Federation comrades are here. Arya Song nervously took a few steps back. The police and Women's Federation officers entered the room. They had already heard about the incident on their way here, and everyone found it unbelievable. They also felt ashamed that the heroic individual who acted bravely for justice had suffered so much injustice. It was their dereliction of duty. As soon as they entered, everyone was furious at the sight of Thea Song's swollen and red face. The police directly took away Mother Song, who was involved in human trafficking. What are you doing? What are you doing? The Song is my daughter. What's wrong with finding her a good husband? You admitted yourself that you sold Thea Song to the old lady of the Gu family. The neighbors immediately testified. And don't forget to arrest that old lady too, a neighbor loudly reminded. Thea, stop fooling around. Bojo finally snapped out of his shock. He walked up to Thea Song and reached out to hug her. Thea Song took half a step back. What are you trying to do? Threatening the victim right in front of us? The police officer demanded. Bojo stared at Thea Song, bewildered by how things had suddenly escalated to this point. Mother Song shouted and screamed, eventually being taken away. Arya Song took advantage of the chaos to run away. The comrades from the Women's Federation stayed behind to comfort Thea Song for a while, repeatedly emphasizing that she could turn to them for any difficulties. The elderly neighbor warned Bojo with concern. Secretary Gu, there's always someone in our family. If you dare to bully Xiao Song, we can come over immediately. Don't be afraid, Xiaoang. The room gradually quieted down. Only the Song and Bojo remained. She didn't know why Bojo's words about protecting her suddenly came to mind. Thinking about it, it was quite laughable. Thea, go to the police station now and explain everything to the authorities. Otherwise, both your mother and my grandmother will be in trouble. Should I go and tell the truth? Thea Song asked. Bojo's words got stuck in his throat. Thea, we still have to live our lives. If something really happens to them, what are we going to do? Bojo asked after a long pause. Then let's not live it anymore. The Song turned around and took out the divorce application from the drawer. Bojo, I agree to a divorce. Before today, Thea Song didn't dare to defy Bojo. But today, she suddenly found the strength. She is clearly such a good person. And in this society, there are so many good people who can protect themselves. Don't be afraid. Yes, don't be afraid. She is the victim. She has done nothing wrong to anyone. I won't divorce. Bojo snatched the divorce application and tore it to pieces. Bojo, it was clearly you who said you wanted a divorce. Thea Song clenched her fists tightly. Bojo held Thea Song firmly in his arms, ignoring her struggles, and pressed her tightly against his chest. Thea, I'm sorry. It's my fault. It's okay if you don't forgive me. I won't force you, but we can't get a divorce. Thea Song used all her strength, but still couldn't push Bojo away. That sense of helplessness once again overwhelmed her entire being. She wanted to seek help from the Women's Federation and her neighbors. She wants a divorce and is leaving in 3 days. How can she not get divorced? She doesn't want to spend the rest of her life entangled with Bojo. She doesn't want that at all. Bojo waited until Thea Song calmed down before slowly letting her go. I'll go cook. Wait for me the entire day. Bojo stayed at home with Thea Song and didn't go to the police station to see Song or Mrs. Gue. Bojo thought it was just an angry remark without any evidence, and the matter would eventually be dropped at night. Bojo still held Thea Song while sleeping. Thea Song didn't like it. Her body remained stiff, even more so than the previous night. Bojo clearly sensed Thea Song's rejection, and an indescribable feeling arose in his heart. Over the past few days, he had learned too much and pondered deeply. He was certain that he liked Thea Song. They had lived together for 7 years, and he tried every means to torment Thea Song. But Thea Song was always so beautiful and serene, giving him a home. Only now did he realize it. Bojo wanted to have a proper home. He thought that since they even had a child together, they would surely be happy. Thea Song didn't know how she fell asleep, and by the time she woke up, it was already daylight. Bojo prepared breakfast. This morning, someone from the police station came to see him, saying that Grandma Jo wasn't doing well, and asked him to visit. Bojo couldn't refuse. She was his grandmother. Moreover, he had to go as Thea Song's husband to forgive both Grandma and Thea's mother. He found it somewhat ironic, but didn't dare tell Thea Song. After breakfast, Bojo said to Thea Song, I'm going out for a bit, and we'll be back before noon to cook. Thea Song didn't say anything, watching as Bojo left. As soon as Bojo was gone, Thea Song also immediately went out. Last night, whether out of guilt or something else, Bojo had given her quite a bit of money again. Tomorrow was the day to leave, and Thea Song wanted to buy some things. She had made up her mind. Even if Bojo didn't divorce her, she would leave. After all, She had no plans to remarry in the future. If Bojo wanted to drag it out, so be it. She had just walked a block when Arya Song came face to face with her. Thea Song. You. It's all because of you. If it weren't for you, Mom wouldn't have gotten hurt. If it weren't for you, I could have married Bo when I came back. Arya Song cursed viciously, shoving Thea Song with all her strength. Arya Song was strong and robust, while Thea Song was skinny and frail. With just one push, Thea Song had no time to react and was sent flying, landing heavily on the ground. Blood spilled all over the floor before she lost consciousness. Thea Song heard screams and cries ringing in her ears. She tried to open her eyes to see, but everything was pitch black. When she woke up again, Thea Song was lying in a hospital bed once more. Whether by coincidence or not, it happened to be the same bed as before. Bojo was still sitting by the bed. His expression was weary and pained. Thea Song, the baby is gone. It was still him speaking to Thea Song. You're pregnant, Thea Song. The baby is gone. It seemed like only a few days had passed in total. Thea Song lay there, tears continuously falling. She had been struggling with what to do about this child before. And now that the baby was gone, her burden was lifted. But why did her heart ache so much? Thea Song, don't cry. Bojo's heart ached unbearably. He had been so looking forward to the arrival of this child, hoping the family could be happy together. But then, Thea, Arya really didn't mean to do it. Please forgive her. If you don't, Arya will go to jail and she's still so young. Bojo looked at Thea Song with deep emotion as he spoke. Thea, once this is all over, we'll leave this place. I'll transfer jobs, and we can go wherever you want. I'll never see Arya Song again or any of the Song family. Thea Song looked at Bojo. You want me to forgive the murder of my child? Bojo felt a sharp pain in his chest from Thea Song's words. Thea, you are sisters. Ah, sisters. Thong stared at Bojo, unsure how he could utter the word sisters. Bojo felt as if he had a fishbone stuck in his throat. He knew how poorly Arya Song treated Thea Song. He knew everything. But back then, he liked Arya Song and simply thought she was genuine, loving when she loved and hating when she hated. But now, standing on the outside looking in, he sees how willful Arya Song was back then and how pitiful Thea Song was. It was Arya's fault. But he still couldn't bear to see Arya Song go to prison without doing anything. One last time after this, he would never get involved in Arya Song's affairs again. He wanted to live a good life with Thea Song. Thea, I know. Let's get divorced. You agree to the divorce and I'll agree to leniency. We'll settle it today, said Thea Song. What are you saying, Thea? We're not getting divorced. Then there will be no leniency. I'll tell the police I will never forgive and will demand severe punishment for this murderer, Thea said firmly, looking at Bojo. Yes, she was forcing Bojo's hand. Thea Song has lived to the age of 25, and every time she encounters Arya Song and her choices, everyone always chooses Arya Song. She also wants to be firmly chosen. Bojo, can't you stand by my side? If we don't get divorced, shouldn't the one who did wrong be punished? That's what you said. Does it not count now? Bojo remembered how in the early days of his marriage to Thea Song, whenever he thought of Arya Song's death, he would mercilessly torment Thea Song, who would beg him to let her go with cold arrogance and cruelty. He had told her, Thea Song, those who do wrong must be punished, no matter who they are. So why did it change when it came to Arya Song? Thea Song looked at Bojo, thinking that as long as he chose her, as long as he said he wouldn't divorce, she would tear up the train ticket and start over. They would live a good life together. Bojo gazed into Thea Song's expectant eyes, and after a long pause, he finally spoke with difficulty. Thea, I'm sorry. I agreed to the divorce. Please forgive Arya. Thea Song burst into laughter, unable to stop. Tears streamed down her face uncontrollably, and no matter how hard she wiped them away, they kept falling. Thea, don't be like this. We don't have to get divorced. As long as you divorce, Thea Song struggled to get up from the bed. Thea, you just had a DC surgery. You can't yet. Bojo tried to hold Thea Song down. Thea called out loudly for the nurse. The nurse had been standing at the door, her face already streaked with tears, her heart aching for Thea Song. I'm here, Comrade Song. I can help push your wheelchair. I'll take leave, the nurse said, her voice choked with sobs. "Thank you," Thea Song said through her tears. The nurse wiped her tears vigorously, turned around, and ran to the nursing station. Soon, she returned with a wheelchair, and 2 other nurses helped Thea Song sit in it. "Let's go first, the divorce. Then I'll offer forgiveness," Thea Song said firmly. "Thea scumbag, hurry up and leave," the nurse urged coldly. She draped a blanket over Thea Song's legs and wrapped a coat around her. Bo-jio followed behind them in a dejected manner. Thea Song went home first, took her documents, and wrote a divorce application. "How can you leave with nothing? You've been with him for 7 years. You must get your share of the property," the nurse protested, arguing loudly with Bo-jio. To this day, Bo-jio still believes Thea Song only filed for divorce out of momentary anger, and that he will eventually win her back. He gave the 2,000 yuan from his passbook to Thea Song. Thea Song accepted it. She quietly asked the nurse to retrieve her train ticket. Seeing the date for tomorrow, the nurse felt even more sympathy for Thea Song. 3 hours later, Arya Song was released. She immediately threw herself into Bo-jio's arms. "Brother Bo, I was so scared. Woo-woo." The nurse pushing Thea Song turned and walked away without hesitation. "What kind of people are these? One's a worn-out shoe. The other's scum. Both are trash." Everyone at the police station knew that Bo-jio had used his divorce to get Thea Song to forgive Arya Song. They all looked at the 2 of them with disdain. Bo-jio hurriedly pushed Arya Song aside and chased after Thea Song. "Thea divorced. Don't call me so intimately. You're not worthy," the nurse scolded. "Also, if you follow me again, I'll call the police." Bo-jio wanted to say something more, but was stopped by Arya Song, who had caught up and grabbed his arm. "Bo, why didn't you wait for me?" Arya Song pouted angrily. She had never been ignored by Bo-jio before, and now he had left her behind. She was subjected to pointing fingers and scolding. Bo-jio hesitated for a moment, but ultimately stayed to comfort Arya Song. At this moment, Thea Song was in a private hospital room. This room was paid for by the nurses who pooled their money to help her. "I know your train ticket is for tomorrow. My sister works for the railway, and I've arranged a sleeper berth for you. She'll be on the train tomorrow. Over 40 hours on board. You can't manage without someone looking out for you," the nurse said. "Thank you," Thea Song replied, her voice breaking as tears fell. The warmth she hadn't felt from her parents, family, or husband, she now experienced from strangers she just met. "Comrade Song, it's me who should thank you. Among the children you saved back then, one was my younger brother. He's even taller than me now," the nurse said, embracing Thea Song and bursting into tears. "Our whole family has been looking for you. We thought you were in the hospital, but we don't know why you disappeared without leaving any identification information." Thea Song recalled that year when she was injured while acting bravely. She was originally taken to the hospital by the police, but the Song parents took her away directly. If it weren't for her severe injuries that could have been fatal at any moment, they probably would have made her go home. In the end, she was sent to a dilapidated hospital in the suburbs. The nurse later told Thea Song many more things. It was only at this moment that Thea Song realized that those 5 families had been searching for her all along, but she had been too severely injured at the time to say anything. The Song parents probably didn't want others to know her name, as it might have affected the rural relocation plan. In the end, because her injuries were too severe, they had no choice but to change it to Arya Song. Thea Song's lips curled into a bitter smile. In truth, she would have preferred to be sent to the countryside while still gravely injured, better than these 7 years of torment. If she had gone to the countryside, she could have taken the college entrance exam. During her middle school years, she ranked first in her grade in every exam. Yet her parents still made her drop out after middle school, while the underperforming Arya Song was sent to high school instead. The enrollment requirements for the first year of the college entrance examination were very lenient. She could have taken the exam through self-study, but Bo-jio ruthlessly clipped her wings. Bo-jio himself was a graduate of the Worker-Peasant-Soldier University, and started working in the municipal government right after graduation, becoming the first secretary of the municipal party committee in his 20s. This position held significant prestige. He understood the importance of education. He knew that a college student in that era had boundless prospects. Yet because of those baseless accusations, Her hopes were crushed. Thea Song found herself in tears without realizing it. She wept for her sorrowful 7 years, for the time she had never been loved. Thea, don't cry, the nurse reached out and hugged Song. You're still in your postpartum confinement period. Crying will harm your eyes. You're already divorced from that scumbag. And from now on, your life will be so much better. Thea Song hugged the nurse back. Thank you, Xiaoing. The nurse's name was Zhang Xiaoing, and she was the same age as Thea Song. She has an older sister and a younger brother. Her family doesn't favor boys over girls, nor was she neglected for being the middle child. She is bright and warm-hearted, yet not spoiled unlike Arya Song. It wasn't until much later that Thea Song realized Xiaoing's radiance was nurtured by an abundance of love, the impartial love of her parents, and the sibling love between brothers and sisters. Arya Song's radiant and flamboyant demeanor was nurtured by indulgence. She grew accustomed to taking. They were different. Zhang Xiaoing waited until Thea Song had fallen asleep before leaving the hospital room. She hesitated for a long time at the nurse's station, but ultimately made a decision. Early the next morning, the elderly neighbor also came to the hospital room, bringing Thea Song some nourishing soup. Have some soup first and eat your breakfast. Thank you, Grandma, Thea Song said somewhat shyly. I've told you before. Let me be your mother. Just call me godmother, so we don't mess up the generational titles. The elderly neighbor's name was Wang Guihua. Can I really? Thea Song looked at Wang Guihua with disbelief. Of course, hurry up and call me godmother, urged Wang Guihua, her voice tinged with a hint of emotion. Godmother? Yes, my dear girl. Wang Guihua gave Thea Song a tight hug. After dinner, I'll take you to the station. Thea Song nodded vigorously, perhaps with too much force as her tears fell into the soup. After breakfast, Thea Song was escorted by everyone through the hospital's back door to the station. She had finally left. Goodbye to everything here. Boju finally managed to shake off Arya Song, but Thea Song and the nurse had long disappeared. He chased after them to the hospital, only to find the ward empty. Nurse, where is Song? Sorry, only family members are allowed to know the patient's whereabouts. The nurse couldn't be bothered with him. Boju searched everywhere but couldn't find Song, so he had to return home. He sat alone in the empty room, as if his soul had been drained. Train, sleeper, car. Zhang Xiaoing's eyes immediately widened when she saw the emaciated Thea Song. She took 2 deep breaths before speaking in a calm tone. Thea, little sister, you can call me Sister Xiaoing. Sister Xiaoing. Thea Song responded obediently. Sister, I'm entrusting Thea to your care. These are all the things she needs, all packed here. Zhang Xiaoing handed the prepared nursing kit to Zhang Xiaoing. Don't worry, I'm here for you all, Zhang Xiaoing assured. Thea Song felt so warm inside that she nearly cried, but she held back. She was clearly heading toward a bright future. She couldn't cry. Wang Guihua also prepared a bundle for Thea Song. Thea, this is what Mom prepared for you. Take it with you, godmother. It's all right. Xiaoing helped me secure some money during the divorce, Thea Song said softly. What's yours is yours, and what I give is mine, Thea. Once you're there, focus on recovering your health first. Remember, a healthy body is the foundation of everything. Only when you're well can you live a better life, Wang Guihua advised. Thea Song nodded in agreement. With just 10 minutes left before departure, Wang Guihua and Zhang Xiaoing reluctantly stepped off the train. 10 minutes later, the train departed. Thea Song waved vigorously. Goodbye, godmother Xiaoing. Goodbye, Thea Song of the past. 2 days later, Thea Song arrived in Yongcheng. Throughout the journey, Zhang Xiaoing took excellent care of Thea Song. Zhang Xiaoing had given her a notebook with detailed instructions on how to provide care. Before getting off the car, Thea Song thanked Zhang Xiaoing. Thea, we're like sisters now. No need to thank me. Wait for me. Let's go together. Zhang Xiaoing reminded Thea to wait for her. Thea Song obediently waited for Zhang Xiaoing, while also making plans for her future. She currently had 2,000 yuan on her. 2,000 yuan was no small amount in this day and age. She had heard that many people in Yongcheng were doing business, and she wanted to start a small venture. Young and strong, she was sure she wouldn't starve. She still wanted to study. Thea Song had a college dream, and she was determined to fulfill it. Even though she was already 25 years old, there was still such a long road ahead in the future, and she wanted to live it well. While Thea Song was still lost in thought, Zhang Xiaoying had already finished her work. Carrying a backpack, she came over to find Thea Song accompanied by a male comrade. "Thea, this is my partner, Hao. He came here to see us off," Zhang Xiaoying introduced with a smile. "Hello, comrade Thea Song. It's a pleasure to meet you," Hao said politely, having heard about Thea Song from Zhang Xiaoying. He held great respect and admiration for her in his heart. "Thank you." Thea Song stood up, still somewhat weak, having just had a miscarriage a few days prior. "Let me help you. I'll take the bags." Hao assisted Thea off the train. "I'll find a guest house to stay in first. You two go ahead with your work," Thea Song said, knowing Zhang Xiaoying's job was far from easy. "Thea, I've taken leave. A relative of mine has a place here, and my mom has arranged it. We'll stay at their place for a while," Zhang Xiaoying said, hailing a nearby tricycle and helping Thea Song aboard, carefully wrapping a scarf around her head. "Sister Xiaoying, we've caused you too much trouble." Thea Song was about to say more, but was directly interrupted by Zhang Xiaoying. "Thea, if you keep saying such polite words, I'll get angry." Zhang Xiaoying hugged Thea Song. Hao put the things away and got into the car. The car swayed along until it arrived at a courtyard. Thea Song was helped inside by Zhang Xiaoying and settled down. For the first 10 days of her postpartum confinement, Zhang Xiaoying took care of Thea Song, using up all her annual leave. 10 days later, Zhang Xiaoying had to return to work. Thea Song was somewhat reluctant to see Zhang Xiaoying go. It wasn't that she needed her care, but rather that she craved the warmth of her sister. Zhang Xiaoying would say, "Be careful. Don't get out of bed. Don't touch cold water. If you need anything, just call me." Sometimes Thea Song stubbornly wanted to do something on her own, and would be scolded. She could tell that Zhang Xiaoying genuinely cared for her like a little sister. She also knew how much the Zhang family had contributed to arranging her accommodation within just 2 days when she suddenly arrived in Yongcheng. She took note of everything. In the future, she would definitely repay them and her godmother, too. Thea Song opened the package while unpacking and organizing her belongings at her new place. Inside was an envelope containing 2,000 yuan and a letter. In the letter, Wang Guihua wrote that this was a mother's support for her daughter, hoping she would take good care of her health and pursue her dreams. Pursuing dreams. Such beautiful, beautiful words. And it was the first time anyone had encouraged Thea Song like this. Thea Song tightly clutched the letter, holding on to her godmother's blessings as well. On the morning, Zhang Xiaoying was leaving. The Song got up to see her off. "Sis Thea, I'll be back in a few days. I'll come see you when I return." Zhang Xiaoying hugged Thea Song. Looking at the slightly healthier version of Thea that she had helped nurture, she felt reluctant to part. Given a little more time, she could have raised the child even better. The Song's complexion had visibly improved now, and her clear eyes had regained their sparkle, making her even more beautiful. "Okay, sis, I'll wait for you," the Song said reluctantly. Zhang Xing opened the door and saw Zhang Xiaoying standing outside. "Xiaoying sis Thea, I'm here." Zhang Xiaoying immediately hugged Zhang Xing, then embraced Thea Song. "Dad said that Yongqing's future development is limitless. To pursue better opportunities, I've transferred my job here," Zhang Xiaoying said with a beaming smile. Thea Song could no longer hold back her tears, knowing that Zhang Xiaoying had come because she was worried about her. "Stop, Thea. If I make you cry, my sister will beat me up." Zhang Xiaoying hugged Thea Song's arm and shook it gently. Zhang Xiaoying was both amused and exasperated by her younger sister's antics, reaching out to poke Zhang Xiaoying's forehead. "Now that you're here, I can rest easy. I'll be going then. Get settled in first, and if anything comes up, have someone leave a message for me at the station." "Don't worry, sis." Zhang Xiaoying cheerfully helped Thea Song back to bed before seeing Zhang Xing out. "Xiaoqing, did Dad arrange this job for you?" Zhang Xiaoying asked in a low voice. "Yeah, otherwise how could it be so quick?" Dad said, "Although Yonk is a bit backward and chaotic right now, the development here will indeed be better." "Don't worry, I'll be careful," Zhang Xiaoying replied seriously. "All right, take good care of Thea and yourself. Your cousin only comes back to stay in this house for a few days during the new year, so you two can live here peacefully. I'll call him when I get back." Okay, sis. Don't worry. The two sisters didn't say much more. During the following postpartum confinement, Thea Song continued to be cared for by Zhang Xiaoing. Zhang Xiaoing first reported to the hospital. She had been transferred to this position and had leave before officially starting. Plus, she had connections through her family. She first took a month's leave for herself. Thea Song still had 10 days left before returning to work after her postpartum confinement. Thea, let's go shopping tomorrow and explore Yongqing, Zhang Xiaoing said with a smile. Both she and Thea Song needed to get to know the city. Sure, Thea replied. Yongqing was vast and also quite run down. The Song and Zhang Xiaoing spent half a day wandering around the neighborhood. The Song noticed people moving hurriedly, yet their faces were all lit up with smiles. She also saw many foreigners. At this time, Yongqing had just begun its reform and opening up, and everyone was brimming with energy. The Song didn't know how to describe her feelings. Suddenly, she felt that in the tide of this era, perhaps she could truly carve out a different path for herself. Zhang Xiaoing also watched the passing crowd with excitement, holding on to Thea Song's arm. It's my first time seeing so many foreigners. Didn't they say they're all foreign devils? Zhang Xiaoing whispered. Now we're open. I heard it on the radio. Our country is strong now and won't be bullied anymore. We're going to do business with foreigners and earn their money, Thea Song murmured in a low voice. Her family had a radio brought back by Bojiu. When Bojiu was home, he used it to listen to the news every morning and evening. The Song also listened along. When Bojiu wasn't home, Thea Song would turn on the radio to pass the time. By chance, she found a station that broadcast entirely in English. There was an English dictionary in the living room. The Song knew that Bojiu was learning English. She also learned quietly, 1 to 2 hours every day. The Song thought about what she had learned in the cracks, and it occurred to her that perhaps she could use this knowledge to do something. Zhang Xiaoing was still lost in thought when suddenly the sound of an argument came from ahead. The Song looked over and saw a foreigner talking to a middle-aged man. The middle-aged man clearly didn't understand English and was sweating with anxiety. What does this guy want? Zhang Xiaoing watched in confusion. A crowd had gathered around them. What's going on? Is this foreigner trying to bully someone? Exactly. Don't be afraid, buddy. In our country, we won't let anyone be bullied. Yes. Yes. If it doesn't work out, we'll call the police. He's not trying to bully anyone. He's asking where this comrade bought the paper cut in their hand. The Song mustered the courage to speak up. She had never spoken in front of so many people before. The moment she opened her mouth, all eyes turned to her face. Young comrade, you can understand what he's saying. Quick, help me. The middle-aged man walked up to Thea Song as if pleading for help, nearly reaching out to grab her hand in his excitement. The foreigner also noticed that Thea Song seemed to understand her words and tentatively spoke up. Hello, miss. I'd like to buy that paper cutting for $100. Thea Song pursed her lips, took a deep breath, and responded in English. Hello, sir. Let me ask this gentleman if he's willing to part with it. Thank you. The foreigner let out a sigh of relief. He fell in love with the paper cut at first sight. Thea Song said to the middle-aged man, Comrade, this gentleman says he's willing to pay $100 for the paper cut in your hand. The middle-aged man was thrilled and quickly nodded. This is a double happiness character my mother cut for my child. My child is getting married. If he's willing to buy it, I'm certainly willing to sell. Thea Song could also make paper cuts. She was clever and skilled. $800 was a fortune in those times. She instantly thought of many things and said to the foreigner in fluent English, This gentleman is willing to part with this double happiness character. It represents the blessings of our elders to the younger generation, and is used during weddings. Thea Song explained the meaning of the double happiness character in detail. The foreigner's eyes lit up with fascination, and many passers-by gathered around, with the foreigners among them particularly drawn to the beautiful Eastern culture. Thank you for your explanation. It has given me a deeper understanding of Eastern culture, the foreigner said excitedly. This lovely lady, would you be willing to serve as my translator for a few days? I'll pay by the hour, $8 per hour. How about that? The foreigner tentatively asked. Thea Song was slightly taken aback. She truly hadn't expected to encounter such a generous foreigner. $10, the foreigner thought. Thea Song found the offer too low and hastily raised the price. I've just arrived in Yongcheng myself and don't know the city well, Thea Song said. I do want to earn the money, but I can't work as a tour guide. I know where to go. You just need to help me translate. I want to buy a lot of things, but my translator is sick, the foreigner said helplessly. Okay, if it's just translation, I can do it, Thea Song agreed immediately. She could both get to know the city and earn some money by following this foreigner. Why not? My name is John. What's yours? John asked. My name is Thea Song. After introducing herself, Thea Song began today's translation work. John took the middle-aged man to the bank, handed the money to him, and excitedly stored the paper cutting safely. This was Thea Song's first time visiting a bank. She looked around curiously as the bank was running a promotion, and a staff member gave Thea Song some materials. Thea Song thanked them and accepted the materials. This world is truly full of novelty. The middle-aged man insisted on giving Thea Song $10 as a token of gratitude. Unable to refuse, Thea Song accepted it. This was the first money she had ever earned on her own. Thea Song's mood was exceptionally bright. Zhang Xiaoing followed Thea Song, so stunned that she remained speechless until the transaction was over, simply trailing behind her. John bought his favorite paper cut today, and was so happy that he didn't want to go out. He was eager to return to his place to admire the artwork. Thea Song went along to get acquainted with the place. Coincidentally, the small Western-style house where John lived wasn't far from their courtyard, just a 5-minute walk. The two agreed to meet at the small Western-style house at 8 o'clock the next morning. Thea Song and Zhang Xiaoing went home. Only after entering the house did Zhang Xiaoing find her voice again and ask, Thea, how are you so amazing? I saw that foreigner and felt so scared. He was so tall and pale. It was really frightening, and his eyes were blue. How could you talk to him so calmly? And how do you know how to speak English? Thea Song then told Zhang Xiaoing about how she learned English. Speaking of learning, she naturally also mentioned the time when she was forced to give up the college entrance exams. Zhang Xiaoing couldn't hold back and stood there cursing Bo Jiu for 5 minutes. That bastard. He's a college graduate himself. He knows damn well how important education is. Yet he stopped you. Zhang Xiaoing was practically murderous. Xiaoing, what's done is done. I'm doing fine now, so let's not dwell on the past. Exactly. Stay away from scumbags and life will be beautiful. Zhang Xiaoing hugged Thea Song and planted a loud kiss on her cheek. I'm coming with you tomorrow. I still don't quite trust that big guy. I'll ask John tomorrow if he minds you accompanying me, said Thea Song, knowing that foreigners prefer straightforwardness and voicing her concerns. He should be able to understand. Zhang Xiaoing thought that since Thea Song had just finished her postpartum confinement and could already earn money, it was worth celebrating. She pulled Thea Song along to buy groceries, planning to cook a few good dishes that evening. Thea Song naturally agreed, and the two friends went to the market together, buying fish, meat and some seafood. The Song also asked where to buy red paper and purchased a stack of it. Thea, what are you buying red paper for? That gentleman today sold his double happiness paper cuts for $100. I want to see if I can cut out other designs. If John likes them, other foreigners might too, said Thea Song. You want to do business with foreigners? Zhang Xiaoing exclaimed excitedly, her voice rising unintentionally before she quickly covered her mouth. The Song smiled and said, I'm not sure if it'll work, but I want to give it a try. It's just a matter of putting in some effort. I support you. My grandma's paper cutting is amazing. I'll call home later and ask her to make a few patterns for you. Zhang Xiaoing immediately responded. The Song smiled happily. It felt so good to have someone unconditionally supporting her. John's excited voice rang out. The Song turned around. John, what are you doing here? I wanted to buy some food, John said pitifully. He was so hungry, but without a translator, he couldn't even spend his money. He remembered his translator had told him this place was full of food, but after entering, he found everything was raw. He came to the fresh food section. But the snack stores are on the other side. Wait a moment. Let me ask where you can buy meals. But everything here is Chinese food, said Thea Song. I love Chinese food, John exclaimed excitedly, thinking it was great that everything was Chinese cuisine. Thea Song smiled and asked the auntie shopping nearby where the snack stores were located. The aunt enthusiastically told Thea Song, while also expressing admiration for her ability to understand the foreigner's words. The Song thanked her and took John to the snack stalls. John looked at the dazzling array of snacks and couldn't stop exclaiming excitedly, oh my God, this is heaven. The Song smiled and said, what would you like to eat? I'll help you communicate with the vendors. John wanted to eat everything. The Song took him to buy many snacks. John had some paper money on him, and he marveled at the affordable prices here. Before long, he was already carrying a pile of food. The Song mentioned to John in passing that Zhang Xiaoing wanted to accompany her tomorrow. John had no objections, thinking the more the merrier. Besides, with 2 people accompanying him for shopping, he only needed to pay for one translator's fee. He felt he was getting a bargain before parting ways. John noticed the meat and fish in Thea Song and Zhang Xiaoing's hands. He curiously asked them what they were preparing to do. The Song answered truthfully, braised pork and stewed fish. John had never eaten either of these dishes before, so he immediately asked, may I join you for dinner? I'll pay for the meal you're making. Thea Song relayed John's words to Zhang Xiaoing. Zhang Xiaoing certainly had no objections. It was about making money. John was so excited he wanted to give them a hug. See you tonight. John cheerfully noted the address, grabbed his food, and dashed off in a flash. Zhang Xiaoing, foreigners' brains just work differently from ours. The Song chuckled softly because John was coming over in the evening, so the 2 of them bought some groceries before heading back to their place for lunch. They simply had noodles with gravy. Thea Song spent the entire afternoon figuring out what kind of paper cuttings to make. After several attempts, she finally settled on the 12 zodiac animals. Dinner was prepared by Zhang Xiaoing, who was quite skilled in the kitchen. The food was served just as John arrived. He brought gifts and first expressed his gratitude to the 2 before entering. As soon as John stepped inside, he spotted the paper cut art on the low table and excitedly approached it, exclaiming, oh my God, Song. John shouted excitedly. Thea Song's eyes lit up. She knew she was halfway to success. John was interested in her paper cutting. John, who made this? John asked, realizing he was about to meet an artist. The Song wiped her hands and replied while tidying up, it's me. These are the 12 zodiac signs from our country. Then the Song briefly introduced the Chinese zodiac. Me. What's my zodiac sign? I'm 27. John was extremely interested. Rat. The first in the Chinese zodiac. Thea Song showed John the rat she had cut out. Oh my God. John was so excited. He never expected to be the first in the Chinese zodiac. You're just amazing, Song. I want all of these. I need to collect them. Can you sell them to me? John exclaimed excitedly. $200 each, Thea Song replied. Absolutely selling. Only a fool wouldn't. If you like them, of course you can. Thea Song replied with a smile. John carefully held the paper cut of the mouse and said excitedly, I love it so much. The Song's lips curled up in a smile. She liked it very much too. Zhang Xiaoing blinked. Although she didn't understand, she could tell that this foreigner was clearly being fooled. No weight moved. Thea Song wasn't in a hurry to ask for payment either, and invited John over for dinner. John sat at the dining table and was immediately captivated by the delicious food. Oh my God, Zhang Xiaoing. What's the matter? It's so delicious. John politely asked if he could start eating. Theong said yes. She had specially prepared a spoon and chopsticks for John. John can't use chopsticks, but using a spoon doesn't slow down his eating speed at all. After the meal, John was happy again. I'm so lucky to have met 2 angel-like girls, John exclaimed. Can I come here for breakfast tomorrow? I'll pay. John took out all the few hundred he had on him. I'm staying here for 10 days, and I'd like to have meals with you during this time. Is this enough? If not, I'll make up the difference tomorrow. That's enough, Theong said. Although she needed to make money, she couldn't go too far. Thank you, John said in broken Chinese. You're welcome, Thea Song replied in Chinese. Suddenly, she thought of something and said to John, I can teach you Chinese, and my sister wants to learn English. If you're willing, we can help each other out for free. Of course, John quickly responded. He was so interested in Chinese zhang. Even though I didn't understand, the way they both looked at me at the same time made me feel so flustered. Thea Song saw John off and told Zhang Xiaoing about her need to learn English. Thea, do you really think I can do it? Of course, Xiaoing, you're very smart. If I could learn it, there's no way you can't. I'll help you and so will John. Although the time is short, you'll have plenty of opportunities to practice speaking. All you need to do is open your mouth and try. Thea Song held Zhang Xiaoing's hand and said, there are so many foreigners in Yongqing now, and you might even encounter them at the hospital. Since you know English, you'll have more opportunities than others. All right, Thea. I believe in you. I'll learn, Zhang Xiaoing said firmly. The two young friends encouraged each other for a while before returning to their respective rooms to sleep. Early the next morning, John arrived at 7 o'clock. He wanted breakfast. Breakfast was prepared by Thea Song and Zhang Xiaoing together. They cooked porridge and steamed buns. John ate so much that they had to make extra portions for breakfast. After all, he paid for the meals, so they had to make sure he was full. After breakfast, John first took Thea Song to the bank to pay her for the Zodiac collection, $2,400. In just one day, Thea Song became a 10,000 yuan household. She was so happy that she immediately opened a bank account for herself and deposited the money. She had 2,000 from her divorce, and Wang Guihua gave her another 2,000. She then deposited an additional 3,500 into the account, keeping 500 for herself, which would last her a long time over the next 10 days. Thea Song and Zhang Xiaoing accompanied John everywhere. Thea Song taught John Chinese whenever she found suitable situations. She even bought an English dictionary specifically to help Zhang Xiaoing cram at night after returning home. Zhang Xiaoing also worked very hard. At first, she spoke English haltingly, but by the time John was preparing to end his trip and return home, she could already converse with him fluently in everyday language. The pronunciation was very standard. Before leaving, John paid another $600 to Thea Song, which was her translation fee. Theong thanked him and accepted the payment, depositing it into her own account. Zhang Xiaoing had already started work, so Thea Song alone accompanied John to the airport. During these 10 days of interaction, the two developed a deep friendship. Knowing that John enjoyed paper cutting, Theong gave him a gift before he went through security, a silhouette of John. Oh my God! John exclaimed excitedly. Song, thank you. I love it. Thea Song smiled and said, this is a farewell gift for you. If any of your foreign friends are also interested in paper cutting, feel free to contact me. I'd be happy to prepare custom pieces for you. This is the pattern. Thea Song handed over a notebook filled with many paper cutting designs which she had drawn by hand, with some sent by Zhang Xiaoing's grandmother. These are beautiful. My friends will definitely love them, John said. Wait for my news. I think we can mass produce them and sell them in my country. Let me look into it. Here's my number. Can you call me in 7 days? John asked. Of course. Thea Song carefully stored the number. John reluctantly left, waving to Thea Song even after passing through security. Thea Song kept smiling as she watched John leave. Suddenly, many ideas popped into her head. She wanted to sell products with traditional Chinese elements abroad. This vision grew clearer and clearer. During the days Thea Song worked as John's translator, she had been learning about foreign affairs from him. She read newspapers and listened to the news every day. Thea Song has traveled almost all over Yongcheng. As she looked at the thriving city, countless ideas surged in her mind. Just do it. Upon returning home, Thea Song immediately began her design work. There was still much knowledge she didn't understand, so Thea Song enrolled herself in night school. When Zhang Xiaoing found out, she also signed up. True sisters always progressed together. She felt the vibrant vitality of Thea Song, a vitality so infectious that Zhang Xiaoing thought this might be the very meaning of life. Thea Song lives with great effort and positivity. She loves her new life. It wasn't until half a year after she had settled in Yongqing that she heard news of Bo Jiu again. Zhang Xiaoing took a vacation to visit her. After half a year apart, Thea Song had completely transformed. Zhang Xiaoying almost didn't recognize her. Now Thea Song was dressed in the most fashionable dress, with her hair impeccably styled. Her long jet black hair was braided with ribbons into a plait that fell gracefully over her chest, looking absolutely stunning. Thea Song's face was rosy, her smile radiant and bright. No one could connect her with the emaciated Thea Song from half a year ago. "Thea, you've changed so much," Zhang Xiaoying exclaimed. Then couldn't help but bring up Bojio. When Thea was sent away with everyone's help, Bojio was unaware. He searched the hospital for 7 or 8 days, but still couldn't find Thea Song. It was as if Thea Song had vanished into thin air. She didn't return home, or more accurately, she was actually homeless. Bojio began using his connections to look for Thea Song, but there was no trace of her. The nurses at the hospital who knew about Thea Song's departure all despised Bojio intensely. Bojio looked utterly haggard. With no one to wash his clothes or cook for him, and no one waiting for him at home, the house was exceptionally lonely at night. He finally tasted the bitterness of being abandoned. Arya Song came looking for Bojio several times, but Bojio ignored her every time. Arya Song couldn't understand why Bojio had changed. Furious, she shouted at him. "You were willing to get divorced for me. Why can't we be together now that you're single and I'm single?" The sudden pang in Bojio's chest came abruptly. Yes, it was he who had given up Thea Song, so he deserved to suffer. "Bo, be brave. Let's get married." Arya Song rushed over to hug Bojio, but he pushed her away. "Arya Song, I don't like you. I like Thea. I've actually liked her for a long time. She's so delicate, kind, and yet resilient. I just never saw my own heart clearly. I always thought you were my responsibility, but in truth, what happened back then wasn't Thea's fault at all. You've enjoyed your parents' favor for so many years, while Thea wasn't brought home until she was 13. Why couldn't you have been a little kinder to her? You've been happy for so long. Couldn't you spare just a little of that happiness for Thea? Thea does the most work in your household, yet she's always blamed and neglected. While you do nothing and still get to enjoy everything, I've also favored you. I've always mistaken the bond between us for love when I married Thea. I was secretly pleased in my heart. I just didn't dare admit it. If only I hadn't been so arrogant as to think a girl from the countryside wasn't good enough for me. If only I had treated Thea better, she wouldn't have left me. I've done enough for you. I divorced for you. I owe you nothing. Arya Song, don't come looking for me anymore. I don't want to see you." Bojio finished speaking and left, walking away without even a backward glance. Arya Song stood there screaming at the top of her lungs, but not even that could make Bojio turn his head. A few days later, Bojio's seriously ill mother died in her hospital bed, because there was no one to take care of her. Bojio frantically arranged his mother's funeral, finally laying her to rest, only to find that the elderly Mrs. Gue was critically ill, screaming and shouting at home. Bojio had no choice but to return to the Gu. The person who had been taking care of Mrs. Gue was a distant relative Bojio had brought from the countryside. The relative said helplessly, "Actually, the doctor said there's nothing wrong with the old lady, but she keeps insisting that if she can't eat steamed blood, she'll die. That's why her health has been deteriorating." Bojio asked in shock, "What's steamed blood?" "You didn't know? Every month, Thea Song has to draw a bowl of blood for the old lady. The old lady steams and eats it, claiming it's a folk remedy for longevity." Bojio could barely stand. He had indeed seen the wounds on Thea Song's wrist before, but he never paid them any attention, nor had he ever imagined that Thea Song had to endure such suffering every month. He slapped himself hard twice. "Grandma." Joe called for Bojio from inside the house. Bojio entered the room, looking at his grandmother's aged face, and for the first time, hatred welled up in his heart. He truly hated her and hated himself too. They were all living comfortable lives at the expense of Thea Song's flesh and blood. How could they be so cruel to Thea Song? He must find Thea Song, apologize to her, and beg for her forgiveness. He must see Thea Song again, no matter the cost. "Bo, you must bring Thea Song back quickly. If she doesn't return, I'll die," cried old Mrs. Gu. "The Song won't come back. She's gone," Bojio said solemnly, then turned and strode away. "Bo, come back. Come back." Old Mrs. Gu wailed, engulfed by overwhelming fear. The blood ritual couldn't be stopped without the nourishment of young life. She would die. She didn't want to die. Didn't want to die. Old Mrs. Gu thought of Arya Song. Yes, they were biological sisters. Old Mrs. Gu asked her relative who was taking care of her to call Arya Song over. Arya Song knew it was old Mrs. Gu who had made Bojio marry Thea Song back then. Now that she had returned, old Mrs. Gu had always preferred her more. As long as she spoke up, Bojio would marry her. Arya Song would never give up on Bojio, her cash cow. Bojio is now the first secretary of the municipal party committee. Even though he has been looking haggard these days, it hasn't affected his work. Although the mayor is somewhat dissatisfied with him due to his marriage, Bojio's work performance is outstanding. The mayor merely reminded him to be mindful of his public image. This is a time when talent is in high demand. As long as Bojio doesn't make any mistakes, his future remains promising. The moment the Gu family matriarch saw Arya Song, she immediately had a relative bring over a bowl. Arya, you know Grandma has always liked you. If you give me a bowl of your blood every month, I'll make sure Bo marries you. Arya Song stood up abruptly. Grandma Gu, what nonsense are you talking about? Why should I give you my blood? Bo and I grew up together. Even if there's a little misunderstanding, it's nothing. Even without your help, I can still marry him. Arya Song stormed off as she cursed. You old hag, you lunatic. If you die, the entire Gu family will be mine. Why would I give you my blood to prolong your life? Keep dreaming. I'm not like that fool Thea Song. Old Mrs. Gu was so enraged that she couldn't catch her breath. And just like that, she died. Bojio buried Grandma Gu once again as her grandson. It was his duty. However, the multitude of matters coupled with his heavy workload left Bojio considerably thinner, just like Thea Song back then. These are all things Wang Hohat told Zhang Xiaoing. Wang Hohat has been keeping an eye on the Gu family's movements. She wanted to see how this pack of ungrateful wolves would live without Thea Song. The results satisfied her greatly, though the only regret was that Bojio still hadn't given up searching for Thea Song. But it doesn't matter. He will never find out where Thea Song went. In a few more years, when Thea Song gets married, she'll have someone to protect her. What could Bojio possibly do? Even if he finds her, who cares about him? Zhang Xiaoing told Thea Song everything that had recently happened in the Gu family. Thea Song only felt a bit dazed. She smiled faintly. Whatever happened to them had nothing to do with her anymore. Zhang Xiaoing clapped her hands happily. That's instant karma. Serves them right. Zhang Xiaoing poked Zhang Xiaoing's forehead with a smile. I thought you'd rush out immediately to buy a string of firecrackers to set off. Sis, your hint was way too obvious. I'm going right now. After the string of firecrackers finished, the atmosphere in the room grew even more lively. Zhang Xiaoing has a half-month vacation, due to her outstanding performance. Xiaoing, you should go back with Sister Xiaoing for the new year, said Thea Song. If I go back, you'll be all alone. What then? Zhang Xiaoing immediately refused. During the new year, Zhang will bring his friends over. I can celebrate with them. You've been here with me for half a year already. You must be homesick, Thea Song said with a smile, telling a white lie. Zhang Xiaoing pursed her lips. Indeed, although she was happy and fulfilled every day with Thea Song, studying English, memorizing vocabulary together, attending night school, and running in the mornings, she truly missed her parents and younger brother. Go back. After all, you'll have to return to work after the new year anyway. Yeah, the hospital even assigned me an apartment after the new year. We'll move in together, Zhang Xiaoing said. After all, this was her cousin's place. Even if they are very close relatives, they can't stay indefinitely. Allowing them to live there for half a year is already very generous. Got assigned housing? Zhang Xiaoing looked at Zhang Xiaoing with some surprise. Yes. Zhang Xiaoing proudly lifted her chin. I know English. Our hospital admitted 2 foreign patients who had allergy histories, but the doctors couldn't understand them, and it almost led to a serious incident. I was the one who understood. Zhang Xiaoing turned to Thea Song. Thanks to Thea, I'm now the youngest head nurse in our hospital. I'm even a model example there. The dean always praises me during meetings for attending night school. These were all brought by Thea. Zhang Xiaoing's heart was filled with gratitude. Thea Song felt the same way during the hardest and most desperate time of her life. She met sisters Zhang Xiaoying and Wang Guihua, who helped her emerge from the shadows and supported her in standing up again. She felt she hadn't done much. Xiaoying's own efforts were the main factor. That's right. Being around hard-working people naturally makes you work harder, too. Zhang Xiaoying's laughter was clear and bright. Everyone laughed together happily. 2 days later, Zhang Xiaoying and Wang Guihua took the train home together. Thea Song prepared many local specialties from Yongcheng for Wang Guihua, and placed the 2,000 yuan she had originally given her in an envelope, asking Zhang Xiaoying to return it for her. Left alone in the house, Thea Song found herself missing the lively presence of Zhang Xiaoying. During this time, she had been diligently studying. Whenever she encountered policies she couldn't understand, she would personally go to the Industrial and Commercial Bureau or the local police station to inquire. Her English was excellent, and with the increasing number of foreigners in Yanking, she often helped translate for those who needed assistance with official matters, but lacked an interpreter. Over time, she developed quite good relationships with clerks at several government offices. Thea Song has kept in touch with John, and her paper cutting skills are quite famous in Jay's circle, especially that silhouette which has become something everyone dreams of having. John is a businessman, and he made an agreement with Thea Song that no matter how many they sell, they split the profits 40 to 60, with Thea Song taking 60%. The highest price one of those silhouettes sold for was a whopping $2,000. The silhouette was paired with an illustration of a peony, looking incredibly luxurious. John said this is called private customization, so it must be expensive. Inspired by this, Thea Song developed zodiac silhouette customizations, combining foreigners' zodiac signs with their portraits in silhouette form. This purely handcrafted Eastern artwork, imbued with auspicious meanings, became highly popular. Thea Song then personally made a Chinese-style t-shirt and mailed it to John. When John wore it to an event, it instantly caught everyone's attention, and they immediately placed orders. At this moment, Thea Song was researching how to register a foreign trade company. Just then, the courtyard gate was knocked. Thea Song had no idea who would come looking for her at this hour. She put on her coat and went to open the door, only to find a handsome man in military uniform standing at the entrance. "Who are you?" "I'm Zhang Xiaoying's cousin. My name is Lu Jingshan." Lu Jingshan introduced himself. He was aware that Zhang Xiaoying was temporarily staying at his place with a friend. He knew the girl staying here was named Thea Song, the heroic girl who had saved his cousin years ago. He also knew about all the hardships she had endured before. It's just that Lu Jingshan didn't expect Thea Song to be so beautiful. "You're Thea Song, right?" Lu Jingshan smiled. Having spent too much time in the military, he wasn't very good at smiling, and it looked a bit silly now. Thea Song was amused by his awkwardness. Her smile now was confident and graceful. "Yes, I'm Thea Song. Brother Lu, please come in." "I'm the one disturbing you." No, you stay. I'll be returning to the unit after the new year," Lu Jingshan quickly said, afraid that Thea Song might overthink it. Thea Song still felt a bit embarrassed, but Lu Jingshan's words were so sincere that it would indeed be difficult for her to find another place to stay at this time. Thea Song decided that after the new year, she would buy a house. She now had quite a bit of money saved up, and her paper cutting work could still bring in enough income for her to purchase a small courtyard. "Well, then let's celebrate the new year together," Thea Song said with a smile, snapping out of her thoughts. "All right, sounds good," Lu Jingshan smiled. He had never met such a straightforward girl before and felt delighted. "I live upstairs." "Great. Shall I cook you a bowl of noodles? Then I won't stand on ceremony. I am indeed a bit hungry." Lu Jingshan went upstairs and quickly tidied up his room. As soon as he entered, he noticed how clean it was. Clearly, someone had cleaned it beforehand. Of course, it couldn't have been his careless cousin. Thinking of Thea Song, Lu Jingshan couldn't help but smile again. Half an hour later, Lu Jingshan finished showering, changed his clothes, and went downstairs where Thea Song had prepared a bowl of egg noodles for him. Lu Jingshan devoured it quickly and said, "Thea Song, your cooking is excellent." Thea Song smiled faintly. After 7 years of cooking, her skills had long been honed. Back then, Bojio was extremely picky. She couldn't even remember how many times he had thrown away the meals she prepared. Thea Song shook her head slightly, lost in thought. Why had she suddenly thought of Bojio? Perhaps it was because she was watching Lu Jingshan eat. In the past, she had often watched Bojio eat too. But back then, she had been cautious, even holding her breath. Now she sat there with effortless grace, accepting Lu Jingshan's praise, not his criticism. She was no longer the Thea Song of the past. Thea Song, what are you laughing at? Lu Jingshan asked. Nothing. Just recalling something funny. Brother Lu, take your time with the meal. I'll head back to my room first. Thea Song stood up. Okay, Lu Jingshan smiled. Thea Song had been painting in the living room previously. She had painted based on what came to her mind without any systematic training. She didn't have a job, and John's business was mainly selling to individuals at the time, so her working hours were short. With plenty of free time, Thea Song found an art teacher and studied with her for a while. Now her composition and design skills had improved significantly compared to before. Lu Jingshan finished his noodles, washed the bowl, and seeing Thea Song busy, didn't want to disturb her, so he went upstairs to sleep by himself. The next day, Thea Song made breakfast for 2 a.m. Lu Jingshan, accustomed to waking up early, glanced at Thea Song bustling in the kitchen. A thought suddenly crossed his mind. Having a home didn't seem so bad after all. Lu Jingshan and Thea Song had breakfast together. He hesitated to speak. Brother Lu, if there's something on your mind, just say it, Thea Song asked, her beautiful eyes fixed on Lu Jingshan, making his face flush uncontrollably. Well, Thea Song, I heard from Xiaoing that your English is excellent. Our unit is also encouraging officers to learn English to prepare for future international military situations. I've learned some basics. Could you teach me? Of course, Thea Song agreed immediately, considering it a trivial matter. Learning English starts with pronunciation, then memorizing vocabulary and constant listening practice. Okay, I have a month's vacation. Tell me how I should study, and I'll follow your lead, Lu Jingshan said eagerly. Thea Song nodded. I'll make a plan for you. Thank you, Brother Lu. No need to be polite. Do you have a tape recorder? Thea Song asked with a smile. No, but I can buy one. Do you know where they're sold? Lu Jingshan asked. I know you can use mine first. We'll buy more when we go out for New Year's shopping in a couple of days. Over the past 6 months, Thea Song had explored every corner of Yongqing, and she had grown fond of the city. All right, I'll follow your lead, Lu Jingshan smiled. Thea Song was quick to act. Since Lu Jingshan had given her a place to stay, she naturally wanted to do her best in return. Lu Jingshan followed Thea Song into the living room. There were still Thea Song's paintings and pens on the table. Usually, Thea Song and Zhang Xiaoing studied in the living room together, so they could keep each other motivated. Lu Jingshan saw Thea Song's design sketches. Are these clothes? Yes. I want to start a foreign trade business. I've been looking into the procedures these days and planning to buy a small clothing factory, Thea Song said, gesturing for Lu Jingshan to sit opposite her. Lu Jingshan was filled with astonishment. He hadn't expected Thea Song to develop so well. Independent, confident, and with clear goals. Thea Song had experience in self-study as well as guiding Zhang Xiaoing's learning, so she knew exactly where to start. Brother Lu, let's start with a test. I'll assess your current English proficiency. All right. Lu Jingshan composed himself and looked at Thea Song attentively. The two individuals engaged in a brief conversation. It must be said, Lu Jingshan's spoken English is absolutely terrible. Thea Song pursed her lips. Am I really that bad? Lu Jingshan himself felt somewhat embarrassed. In the military, everyone was learning it anew with accents all over the place, but it was all about the same. No one should laugh at anyone else. Thea Song's spoken English is exceptionally beautiful. Needless to say, Lu Jingshan knew he was far behind. It's all right. We just started late. With more practice we'll improve, Thea Song said with a smile, beginning to make a plan for Lu Jingshan. Since Lu Jingshan had nothing to do during the holiday, he decided to study 8 hours a day. Thea Song believed that to improve performance, the first step is to invest time. Lots of time and effort, and good results will surely follow. Lu Jingshan looked at the nearly brutal plan and swallowed hard. Thank you, Thea Song. You're welcome. Keep it up. I'll record some everyday phrases for you to practice with whenever you can. In the mornings, we'll listen to international channels together. Whether you understand or not, just listen. Occasionally catching one or two words you know is progress. All right. Lu Jingshan made up his mind to study hard. The two of them reached an agreement. Lu Jingshan then steered the conversation back to the foreign trade business Thea Song had mentioned earlier. I have a comrade in the Industry and Commerce Bureau. I can take you directly to ask him about registering a foreign trade company and setting up a factory. That's wonderful, Thea Song said with a smile, expressing her gratitude. Teacher Song helps me with English and I help Teacher Song with connections. It's a win-win situation, Lu Jingshan joked. The Song was amused. She looked very beautiful when she smiled. Lu Jingshan's gaze felt somewhat scorching. Time is of the essence. Let's go. We should try to get all the procedures done before they go on holiday. Lu Jingshan stood up. The Song wasn't one to be coy either. She gathered the materials she had prepared and followed Lu Jingshan to meet his comrade in arms. The comrade in arms looked over the materials Thea Song had prepared. You're still missing a business location. If you want to do foreign trade in clothing, you'll need a clothing factory first, his comrade said. Do you know of any struggling state-owned factories that are transitioning to private ownership? Lu Jingshan asked. He was well-versed in national policies. And since he was speaking to an old acquaintance, he got straight to the point. What a coincidence. There actually is one, the comrade replied cheerfully, looking at Lu Jingshan and then glancing at Thea Song. He felt genuinely happy for his old friend. Lu Jingshan's personal issue had stumped even their commanding officer. No matter how many beautiful female comrades were introduced to him, Lu Jingshan remained unwilling. He wouldn't even consider meeting them. In the end, the commanding officer was at his wit's end, and would sigh at the sight of Lu Jingshan. Who would have thought he'd solve his personal issue just like that? And she's also a capable and beautiful girl. A comrade in arms wrote down a few addresses for Lu Jingshan. Go take a look. Pick whichever one you like and negotiate directly. If there are any issues, come back to me once you secure the factory. I'll get the paperwork done for you in 3 days. Thanks, old Zhang. Lu Jingshan stood up. No need for thanks. Just remember to invite me to the wedding banquet. The comrade in arms chuckled as he saw them out the door. The Song knew there was a misunderstanding and initially wanted to explain, but since Lu Jingshan had already responded, she found it awkward to say anything further. After leaving the Industrial and Commercial Bureau, Thea Song finally spoke up sheepishly. Brother Lu, did I cause you any trouble? Not at all. We often joke around like this. Don't take it to heart, Lu Jingshan replied naturally. Thea Song smiled. She didn't mind. She is a divorced woman, and Lu Jingshan is such an outstanding person. What does she have to mind? Lu Jingshan and Thea Song hailed a tricycle, visiting one address after another. Today they were just checking the size and location of the factories. Thea Song marked each one on the map. 5 factories in total. By the time they finished, it was already afternoon. At noon, they grabbed a quick bite at a roadside stall. When Thea Song got home in the afternoon, she was so exhausted that she didn't want to move and fell asleep on the sofa. Lu Jingshan went to the kitchen and stir-fried 2 dishes, then steamed some rice. Brother Lu, you actually know how to cook. Thea Song was woken up by the aroma of the food. Of course, living alone, I had to learn to cook. Otherwise, I'd go hungry, Lu Jingshan said with a smile as he handed the chopsticks to Thea Song. Thea Song smiled. The relationship between the two inexplicably grew a bit closer. The next day, Thea Song ranked the factory she had visited, with the one closest to the port being her top choice. Let's go to this one first, Thea Song said. All right, let's go. Lu Jingshan and Thea Song went out together, heading straight for their destination, the director's office at Spring Clothing Factory. The Song explained the purpose of their visit. The factory director had also been troubled by the issue of transitioning from public to private ownership. The factory was barely operational, losing money every day, and his superiors criticized him relentlessly during meetings. Someone is interested in buying the factory, and he is naturally willing to sell. The factory director personally led Thea Song and Lu Jingshan on a tour of the garment factory. Chuanan Garment Factory is not large, and the equipment in the production workshop is quite outdated. There are no workers operating the machinery now. The entire factory looks quite desolate. After walking around, they return to the office. Thea Song is very optimistic about the location of Spring Garment Factory. The machines here are definitely unusable, and after she takes over, John will provide the latest equipment. Her advantage lies in the fact that she already has orders on hand. John will contribute equipment as his investment, and Thea Song will give him a 10% stake. John is very happy. Thea Song is very happy. They hit it off immediately. The Song got straight to the point and asked about the price. The factory manager initially thought that since Thea Song seemed interested, he could quote a higher price. Lu Jingshan checked the time. Director, we still have 7 or 8 factories to visit later. If everything goes smoothly here, we won't need to go to the others. The director paused and finally quoted a fair price, a 100,000 deal. The Song didn't haggle. Over the past 6 months, John had helped her earn quite a bit, and she could afford the 100,000. Comrade Song, you're decisive. Thank you. The director's voice suddenly choked up. In truth, he was reluctant to part with the factory. He had worked there for 20 years. Director Hu, I can see you have deep feelings for this factory. After I take over, I'd like to invite you to continue managing it. Would you be willing? The Song asked. Director Hu was momentarily stunned, then pinched himself to make sure he wasn't dreaming. I'd be honored, he replied. The Song smiled. She could clearly see Director Hu's affection for the factory. With someone like him in charge, managing the factory would undoubtedly be smooth sailing. The subsequent procedures were completed without a hitch. All the factory buildings were transferred to the Song's name. Lu Jingshan then sent these procedures to his comrade in arms, and 3 days later, the Song obtained the business license for the factory as well as the business license for the foreign trade company. She liked the name Spring, so the name of the garment factory remained unchanged, and the foreign trade company also adopted the name Spring Foreign Trade Company. Filled with a sense of hope, this kept them busy for a whole week. With the new year approaching, the Song wasn't in a hurry to start work. She first contacted John to update him on the progress here. John said he would bring the equipment over in a month. The Song spent her free time sketching designs and teaching Lu Jingshan English. The two were practically together from the moment they woke up in the morning. Unconsciously, they had grown much closer. Lu Jingshan's spoken English had improved rapidly. Now before they knew it, it was Minor New Year. The two of them made a shopping list for New Year's goods together. Lu Jingshan went out first, pushing his bicycle while the Song locked the door behind him. Thea, don't forget to bring the list, Lu Jingshan reminded as he opened the gate. I remember, it's in my pocket, the Song replied, locking the door and quickly catching up, only to unexpectedly see Bojio standing there as soon as she stepped out. He looked utterly haggard, almost unrecognizable. The Song never expected to see Bojio again. Even more surprising was how calm she felt facing him. Thea. Bojio struggled to find his voice. His Thea looked so beautiful now, with a good complexion and having gained some weight. But how could she be living with a man? How could they be going out together so intimately? Were they going out to shop for New Year's goods? Had they gotten married? The Song let out a sigh. Bojio, what's the matter? Upon hearing the name Bojio, Lu Jingshan's expression instantly turned cold. So you're the scumbag ex-husband. It's not very appropriate to disturb us as a married couple during the new year, is it? You two are unmarried. Bojio looked at Lu Jingshan in disbelief, then turned to the Song. Lu Jingshan reached out and grasped the Song's hand. He was a bit nervous but tightened his grip. What do you think? We wouldn't be living together if we weren't married, Lu Jingshan said calmly. The Song knew Lu Jingshan was helping her, and she didn't want to engage with Bojio either. Looking at the affection in his eyes, the Song found it somewhat laughable. It was actually quite disgusting. Bojio, I'm married. I don't think there's anything left to say between us. Don't bother me, the Song said before locking the front door. Let's go, Jingshan, she said to Lu Jingshan. Lu Jingshan smiled dotingly, got on his bicycle and rode away with the Song. Bojio just watched as the song slowly disappeared from his sight. Suddenly, he remembered the day the song returned. The song had watched him and Arya Song leave in the same way. Bojio pressed a hand to his chest. Why did his heart hurt so much? It ached so badly. He wanted to cry. Lu Jingshan and the song went shopping according to the list, and it took them 3 hours to get everything. The two tied the items onto their bicycles. After hesitating for a moment, the song finally spoke up to express her gratitude. Brother Lu, thank you for today, the song said. I'm serious, Lu Jingshan said earnestly, looking into the song's eyes. The song's face turned red as she shyly averted her gaze. You're the best girl I've ever met. Lu Jingshan reached out and took the song's hand. The song, you're kind, upright, positive and brave. The qualities you possess shine brighter than the sun. I never knew a girl could be as outstanding as you are. The song, I'm 30 years old this year. Before meeting you, I had never been in love. It was only after meeting you that I understood what it means to have your heart flutter. Would you be willing to date me with the intention of marriage? I swear on my honor as a soldier that I will treat you well for a lifetime. Lu Jingshan spoke each word with solemn sincerity. The song looked up at Lu Jingshan. She was always meant to be a cherished girl. Now she shines brilliantly. She deserves beautiful love. Even with those painful memories from the past, divorced, miscarried, so what? Those who truly love you won't care. They'll only feel heartache for you. Those who don't love you will always find fault. No matter what, she no longer needed a man's validation to prove her worth. Thea Song. Lu Jingshan called out nervously, his eyes fixed on her, afraid such a wonderful girl might not choose him, blushing. The song nodded solemnly. Lu Jingshan smiled brightly. Although they hadn't spent much time together, the care and support the song felt were intense. The song thought to herself, she was only 26 after all. A beautiful love could make her even happier. The two of them calmed their emotions and went home together. They grew much closer. When they arrived home, Bojio was still there. He saw them walking back hand in hand, with Thea Song's eyes full of Lu Jingshan. In the past, her eyes could only see him. It was he who had lost such a wonderful girl. Bojio found this place because he saw Zhang Xiaoying when she went to deliver something to Wang Guihua. He quietly overheard their conversation. Zhang Xiaoying told Wang Guihua that Thea Song was doing very well and had earned a lot of money. It was only then that Bojio found a direction by seeking out Zhang Xiaoying. He managed to get Thea Song's address. He couldn't wait and came right away. However, he didn't expect to be too late. Both Lu Jingshan and Thea Song noticed Bojio, but neither of them acknowledged him. They opened the door and went home. They mercilessly shut the door. Bojio stood in the cold wind all night. He heard Thea Song calling Lu Jingshan for dinner. Hearing that, after dinner, Lu Jingshan asked Thea Song to sit while he went to wash the dishes. Looking at the courtyard, only one room had its light on. This was intentional on Lu Jingshan's part. He noticed Bojio hadn't left, so when he returned to his own room he didn't turn on the light. Naturally, what Bojio saw was them sleeping in the same room. As a couple, they'll eventually live together. After breakfast, the two of them worked together to arrange the yard. Bojio had already left at some point. Lu Jingshan cast a cold glance at the spot where Bojio had stood, feeling nothing but disgust. New Year's Eve, Lu Jingshan and Thea Song made dumplings together. Thea Song prepared a lavish dinner, which reminded her of past New Year celebrations when she had to cook a full table of dishes for the Gu family, but wasn't allowed to sit at the table to eat. Thinking about those old memories, Thea Song decided never to think about those messy things again. As they chatted, the two envisioned the future together. Thea Song told Lu Jingshan that she wanted to expand and strengthen the factory. Lu Jingshan said he wanted a promotion and to get married. The matter of marriage, Thea Song didn't agree as it was still too soon. In the blink of an eye, it was the 7th day of the Lunar New Year. Zhang Xiaoying returned, and the moment she came back, she noticed something different between Thea Song and Lu Jingshan. Lu Jingshan cheerfully introduced his girlfriend to Zhang Xiaoying. Zhang Xiaoying angrily punched Lu Jingshan several times. You've taken away my best friend. Lu Jingshan chuckled while Thea Song blushed. The atmosphere was perfect. Zhang Xiaoying voluntarily decided not to be a third wheel, and let Lu Jingshan help her move. The courtyard was left with only Lu Jingshan and Thea Song. Before long, John arrived with the equipment. The Song threw herself into the work. Lu Jingshan still had a few days of vacation left, so he also helped out at the factory. Hoping to ease Thea Song's burden, Lu Jingshan personally visited all the nearby police stations, industrial and commercial bureaus, and tax offices. He is now the regiment commander, and many of his comrades hold key positions in various departments. With such connections, everyone knows that the boss of Spring Foreign Trade Company is the regiment commander's partner. Naturally, no one dares to cause trouble for safety. Lu Jingshan also helped Thea Song recruit 10 discharged soldiers to work at the factory. They can handle production tasks and also protect the factory. The Song was deeply moved, and she thought again about how Bogu had prevented her from taking the college entrance exam. True, healthy love is about wishing for you to soar high, not about caging you like a bird. Spring Foreign Trade Company was thriving. In just 3 years, Thea Song had become a well-known female entrepreneur in Yongqing. Lu Jingshan also successfully became Thea Song's lawful husband a year ago. For the past 3 years, Thea Song has received a birthday gift each year. Each one different and very expensive, but she has returned every single one without fail. She knew it was Bojio. During their 7 years of marriage, she had never received a birthday gift from him, not even a simple wish. Now that they were divorced, she needed it even less. The Song returned to her hometown because Wang Guihua was seriously ill, and kept calling out Thea Song's name. Wang Guihua's grandson, the child Thea Song had saved years ago, reached out to her asking if she could come back for a visit. Thea Song agreed. Wang Guihua was her mother. Although they hadn't seen each other in these years, every year Mother Wang would make her 2 sets of clothes, and later when she couldn't make them anymore, she would buy them, always keeping her in mind during holidays and festivals. This affection is extremely precious to Thea Song. Lu Jingshan specifically took time off to accompany Thea Song back. They met Wang Guihua in the hospital, who was already at the brink of death. Upon seeing Thea Song, her eyes lit up slightly. "Mom," Thea Song called out, pulling Lu Jingshan to show him to Wang Guihua. "Mom, this is my husband." "Good. Very good." Wang Guihua was finally at ease, and she closed her eyes. Thea Song couldn't stop crying once again. She would be without a mother. Lu Jingshan and Thea Song attended Wang Guihua's funeral together as her daughter and son-in-law. Thea Song never expected to meet the Song parents at Wang Guihua's funeral just a few years apart. They seemed to have aged decades. "Thea, I am your real mother. How could you call someone else Mom?" Mrs. Song broke down in tears. Thea Song wiped the tears from her face. "You are Arya Song's mother, not mine." "Thea Song, how could you speak to your mother like that? Even if we were partial before, it's all in the past now. We know we were wrong. We are your biological parents." Mr. Song angrily spoke up. Thea Song sneered. "Today is my mother's funeral. I don't want any unpleasant incidents. Get out of here now." "How dare you talk to us like that, Thea Song? I'll beat you to death." Mr. Song raised his hand to slap Thea Song across the face. Lu Jingshan stepped forward to shield Thea Song, gripping Mr. Song's wrist and pushing him away unceremoniously. "You dare hit my wife? Try moving again and see what happens." Thea Song grabbed Lu Jingshan's arm. Bojio watched the scene unfolding in the neighboring yard from his own home. He didn't go out. He knew Thea Song didn't need him now, nor did she want to see him. She had Lu Jingshan. How can you two be so shameless? Back then you came to bully Thea Song. You forced her to go to the countryside, sold her off. And now that karma has caught up with you, you remember Thea Song. This is your instant retribution. Serves you right to end up lonely, helpless, and destitute in your old age. Exactly. Your beloved daughter Arya Song, whom you doted on, has swindled all your money. Now that you're at your wit's end, you're clearly here to beg Thea Song to take care of you. What's there to be proud about? Playing the hypocrite while waiting for Thea Song to come running after you. What a piece of trash. I doubt they could ever produce someone as good as Thea Song. Could it be that Thea Song was kidnapped? Nonsense. You're all talking nonsense. Thea Song is my child. Mother Song shrieked, her entire demeanor hysterical like a wild cat whose tail had been stepped on, full of hostility. Both Thea Song and Lu Jingshan saw it. Something's wrong. They exchanged glances, and Thea Song spoke up. Leave now and I'll come find you after the funeral. If you don't leave, you won't get a single cent from me. The Song's father and mother didn't dare to say anything more, and the two hurriedly left, feeling guilty. Thea Song and Lu Jingshan waited until Wang Guihua was buried. Only then did they leave the Wang family. They stayed at a guest house. I've already contacted my comrade to investigate the Song family, but it's been too long. I'm afraid we won't be able to obtain any substantial evidence. I have ways to deal with them. Thea Song stood up. She was no longer the helpless little girl from back then. After years of navigating the business world, she had plenty of ways to handle them. Arya Song is dead, Lu Jingshan added. Dead? How did she die? Thea Song couldn't believe Arya Song had passed away at such a young age. Back then, she couldn't endure the hardships of rural life and was seduced by a local hoodlum. She then faked her death by drowning and ran off with him. They committed many illegal acts together, scams, frauds. Arya Song even engaged in marriage fraud and honey traps. That year, when she returned, she was truly desperate. She and her man had accidentally killed someone, so she fled back home. Arya Song originally wanted to use Bojio's influence to clean up her past, but Bojio refused. Lu Jingshan paused. Later, Arya Song swindled all her parents' money and ran away again. Later, she was stabbed to death. Thea Song couldn't help but feel a pang of sorrow for a moment. She really deserved it. An hour later, Thea Song brought Lu Jingshan to the Song family's home. It was still the same house from back then, now dilapidated beyond recognition. All the original appliances and furniture in the home were gone. The Song's parents' eyes lit up as they saw her enter the door. The words of the Wang family neighbors brought them back to reality. The Song now had someone protecting her, and wasn't afraid of them at all. She was thousands of miles away, and they couldn't reach her. If they angered Thea Song, they wouldn't get a single cent. So they learned to behave. Thea, have a seat, said Mother Song affectionately. Son-in-law, you sit too. Father Song hurriedly greeted Lu Jingshan. It was all our fault before. Thea, I know you resent your parents in your heart. We were wrong, but we truly had no way to survive, which is why we came to you, Mother Song said tearfully. Thea, you're a good one, not like Arya. Arya was spoiled by us. Father Song chimed in, muttering. The Song looked at them expressionlessly. I'm not your daughter. Was I kidnapped or picked up somewhere? The Song asked. Mother Song halted abruptly, and Father Song swallowed hard in shock. They hurriedly denied it. Thea, how could you not be our own child? Thea, don't say such things. It breaks my heart. Click. Thea Song tossed $1,000 onto the table. Whichever of you tells the truth gets this money, and I'll also give $100 every month for living expenses, but only to one person. The Song looked at the greedy Father Song and Mother Song as she spoke. If neither of you says anything, I'll leave right now, and no one will get a single cent from me. Thea Song's voice suddenly turned icy. I'll tell you. Father Song's eyes darted as he shouted loudly. We picked you up at the hospital. We originally wanted a boy to help us take care of Arya, but only realized you were a girl when we got home, so we sent you to the countryside, planning to bring you back once you were old enough to work and serve the family. Mother Song hastily yelled. Thea Song, I also said you can't give all the money to the old man alone. I want my share. We can split it half and half. Mother Song stood up, shouting excitedly. Father Song slapped Mother Song across the face. How dare you fight me for it? The two of them began to wrestle fiercely. The Song shook her head in disdain, and Lu Jingshan called out to the door. Come in. The police officers outside rushed in and took the stunned couple away. Thea, do you want to find your birth parents? Lu Jingshan asked. I'll look for them. If they're also searching for me, I'll meet them. But if they've already forgotten me, then let them continue with their lives, the Song said slowly. Lu Jingshan held her hand as they walked out of what had once been a house full of nightmares. Outside, the sunlight was just right. The Song tilted her head, meeting Lu Jingshan's gaze, and smiled. It was wonderful. She had endured. She had carved out her own path. From now on, every day of her life would be lived for herself. Joyful, positive, passionate. Lu Jingshan, I will be the one by your side for a lifetime. You don't need to change. You don't need to compromise. I want to watch you be yourself, radiant and happy.